Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the online pregnancy school. Once again, I am happy to bring you another topic. We thank God that we've been able to go through so many videos. We have over 90 videos just for you. So please, if you haven't been looking at the previous videos, I encourage you to go back and take a look at them, because we started from menstruation and we have gone through up till now where we are talking about the newborn baby. I hope you have been learning a lot and also sharing with friends and family. If you haven't yet subscribed, please just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because I get questions about the topics that we have been discussing. And people have issues concerning what they should be doing and how they would know that their pregnancies are going on well, and what else is there if they don't find this thing or they find something one way or the other. They want to know, is it normal? And is it something that should happen during pregnancy? And I'm happy that I've also been receiving questions from the men, which means that the men are supporting their wives. This is very important. Like I say, pregnancy is not just for the woman, it's for both man and woman. Once the woman is pregnant, it's not just for her to go through that journey. She needs the support of the man as well. My name is Dr. Linda Vanut, and it is always a pleasure coming your way with the online pregnancy school. Around the world, unfortunately, over 2.5 million babies are born dead each year. Over 2 million die within the first month of life. And over 300,000 women also lose their lives because of pregnancy and related complications. The unfortunate part is that a lot of these deaths are preventable. And that is the goal for the pregnancy school. Our goal is that people would know what to do at what time, when they are pregnant, when they have delivered, or even when they want to be pregnant, so that pregnancy will be a time of joy and not anxiety or fear. Because if you're not careful, it's as if we are not gaining so much. It's as if we are losing that battle, but we will not, because there are interventions in place to address most of the things that unfortunately lead to the death of these women. So call that friend, call that sister, call that brother, share the link with somebody that the pregnancy school is on and we are learning a lot. Today, I'm going to continue talking about the baby. The last time I shared with you that when a newborn baby comes to us, how that baby looks like and what we should be looking out for and what we should be concerned about and what we should not be concerned about. Today, I want to continue from there. Now we have looked at the head, and so we come down. The neck, of course, is there. We hope that you can see, but please check. If you find that there's anything that doesn't look well to you, that is the time to take the child to the hospital, even if this child was delivered in the hospital. One of the things that can happen is that the bone that is here, which we call the clavicle, sometimes gets broken. So you might find that there will be a lump somewhere. But please, if you find anything that doesn't look like a normal thing to you, do not stay at home. Just go to the hospital and have that baby checked. It is very important that we do this as early as possible. When you look at the child's chest, the child has most probably, almost all of them have two breasts. And whether this is a boy or a girl, you may see that the breast is big, not flat. It's because of the hormones that we have in the mother during pregnancy. And even for some of the girls, you might find that there will be breast milk coming out of their breast. Now, Sometimes when people see this at home, unfortunately, they squeeze the breast. They continue squeezing until the breast now becomes swollen properly and infected because they want to get the milk out. Please note that this is a result of the hormones that the mother had, all the things going on to keep the baby inside and also to prepare her for breastfeeding. So when you see this milk in the baby's breast, please do not try to squeeze it out. And also do not try to apply anything with the hope of getting the breast to vanish. So it can happen in the boy, it can happen in the girl. Please take note of that. Now, you may see that the chest will be moving up and down as the baby breathes, and that is normal for all of us. But remember that this is a child and therefore will not look exactly the same as an adult. You might find that when this child is lying down, you have a cloth over the child will be moving, and it may be moving, the chest may be moving faster than you are used to. For a baby, that is okay. Now, when you move to the abdomen, what people will call the stomach, when you move to the abdomen, you find that it kind of looks full. It's important to take note of this because at birth, sometimes these babies pass the black stool while they're in the hospital. Others, when they go home, then they pass it. If within 2 days, you haven't seen the stool come out, please take this child to the hospital to check whether everything is normal or not normal. Sometimes we have some abnormalities that can go on and this baby's abdomen will be very big. But otherwise, the big abdomen in a newborn baby is normal. Most of them, you see that the tummy looks quite big, bigger than maybe you would expect. But if it is, it looks different to you, if you think that there might be something wrong, please do not stay at home. That is something that we must learn. Do not stay at home. So now moving down, we can come to the genitals. Whether it's a boy or a girl, we want to look at that part of the body. And if this is a girl, you will find that the area where we have the vagina is the one that will go inside, but on the top of it, it might look like it is swollen. It's all because of the hormones and how the baby was inside the womb, all the things that went on. So it may look bigger, it may look like it is swollen. And for girls, you might also find that some of them would have a tuck, something coming out of the vagina, a small flap coming out, which is like the hymen coming out. Please do not cut this, do not pull it, don't do anything to it. It will go away as the baby is growing. That tag will go away as the baby is growing. For some of the females or the girls, when they are born, you might also find that they have a vaginal discharge. The child doesn't have an infection. It is not a sexually transmitted infection, of course, because this child has just come out and has not had anything that will let this child have sexually transmitted infection. So it is not something that you need to wipe out and say that I'm going to wash this out and all that. It is all part of the hormones that the mother had when this child was inside. Even for some of them, believe it or not, they might have blood coming out as if they are menstruating, what people call mini menses. So if you have a girl child that is born and you have looked from head and you are now in the private part area, these are some of the things that you might find. It doesn't happen in every child, but it happens in some children. So a girl may have the bleeding, may have the discharge, and may also have the hymen protruding. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Online Pregnancy School. My name is Dr. Linda Vanutu, and today I am continuing with the description of the newborn. So when a newborn baby comes out, what is it that is normal and what is it that is not normal. Now, if this child happens to be a boy, there are also things that you can look out for. When you go home, although the baby would be examined at the hospital, when you go home, you can also be looking to see whether there's anything that was missed or anything that you feel is not normal, so that you can take the child back to the hospital. And one of the things you look out for is the penis. The tip should have the hole. The hole should be at the tip of the penis. If you find that it is somewhere down or further down, please let the hospital staff be aware that this is how it looks like. Please, it is important to do this before you circumcise a child. Some people want to circumcise their children within 7 days of birth. But please make sure that you have looked at the penis and you are sure that the tip, that is where the opening is coming from. The opening is at the tip of the penis and not down or not at the base before you have a circumcision done. And we'll be talking more in the future about abnormalities in children, and we'll come back to that. The baby boy has the scrotum, which are hanging, and inside we have the testes. But in a baby, sometimes it may not be so easy to check because the scrotum may be puffy from birth, from the hormones and everything, may be puffy. So you might not be able to find out whether the testes are inside the scrotum or not. And again, if you try to hold it, then it may shrink. It may shrink, and you find that it will be even more difficult to do that. And that is when this child is newborn. It is not so easy to find that. But then when the weather is also cold, and I'm sure people have seen that, or you find that when the child wants to urinate, then you have the scrotum becoming shriveled, like becoming shriveled, so that this child, and people know it, so they say that the child wants to urinate or the child wants to go to toilet, and that is why this has happened. But it will be good for you to look at this baby and see whether things look normal to you or they don't look normal to you. If they don't look normal to you, please don't stay at home. Just take this child back to the hospital so that they can check that for you. Now, when you come down, you see the anus. That is where the feces will come from. There have been babies who have been born without the hole showing. So please, as I said earlier, if you find the baby has not passed any stool, the black stool, when you went home or even at the hospital, then you check also to find out whether there's any hole at the anus where the feces are supposed to come out from. If you don't find any hole there, it is important to go back to the hospital for them to be aware. I say always that when the baby is born, an examination is done at the hospital before the baby is sent home, or that is how it should be. But once you are at home, please, as a mother, as a father, or whoever the caregiver is, please take the time to look at this baby from head to toe. So I hope that you are getting it, that this is how this baby must be examined when you take the baby home. Now, sometimes people get worried about how much their babies sleep when they take them home. And newborn babies usually sleep for a very long time. Some of them can sleep up to about 14 hours in 24 hours. Others can sleep for about 19 hours or 18 hours within a 24-hour period. So most of the time, they are asleep. Isn't that beautiful? So that the mother can also rest. Unfortunately, when the babies are sleeping, the mothers have so much to do. But we hope that they will have help so that this long period that the baby is sleeping, the mother can also have some rest. But as they sleep, they must also eat. So you cannot just leave this baby to sleep on and on and on and on and on. So every 2 to 3 hours, for babies who are on the breast, they need to be fed. Please, if your baby is asleep and you want this baby to feed and you wake the baby up, make sure that the baby is awake before you try to breastfeed. I have seen instances where mothers felt the babies were sleeping for too long, their breasts were engorged, and therefore they took these babies and put the breast into their mouth. And these babies unfortunately aspirated. This means that the breast milk went the wrong way into the lungs, and it was a big challenge for them. Thankfully, they survived. But it is important that this baby is awake when your breasts are engorged and you want to breastfeed this baby. Please make sure that they are awake. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the online pregnancy school. Please, if you haven't done that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Share with friends and family. Share your comments with us. Give us your feedback. Remember to give us thumbs up, like our pages. Do anything that will let somebody else know that there is something going on called the pregnancy school. And we are helping to reduce these preventable maternal and newborn deaths. It is very painful that a mother becomes pregnant, she goes to deliver, and she doesn't go home because she was trying to give life. And that is something that must not be allowed to continue. We have to take action at the right time. So please note and share with friends and family. Okay, so now you might find that this baby, when he or she is sleeping, would be breathing, yes, but at a point, the child will stop breathing for a little while, about 5 seconds or 10 seconds maximum. This is normal. In babies, this is normal. But if you find that your child stops breathing for a long time or becomes bluish, then that is not normal. So this baby must be sent to the hospital as quickly as you can, because as the baby breathes in, he or she takes in oxygen, it goes to the body, it goes to the brain, and it is very important for the function of the brain as well as the functioning of all the other parts of the body. So if you find that your child, when he's asleep or she's asleep, stops breathing for a very short time, that is okay. But if it prolongs, then that is not okay. So this child has to be sent to the hospital immediately, as soon as you can. Very, very, very important. Now, the other thing that I want to share with you is about what we call the reflexes. The reflexes are the responses that you see in the children. We have some reflexes that must be present for the baby's own good. And one of them is the sucking. So when you put, even some babies, when they are in the womb, you find that they put their thumbs or their fingers in their mouths, because that reflex of when something goes into your mouth, suck on it, is developed at that time, as early as when the baby is inside the mother's womb. So when they are born, that reflex is very important. If you have a baby, you put the breast in the mouth, the baby cannot suck. You try as much as you wish, the baby cannot suck. The baby doesn't suck, do that exercise, kind of pulling in the breast, pulling in to get the breast milk, then that should not be a normal thing. The baby must be able to suckle so that the feeding can go on well. And if you find that when you put the breast in the mouth, the baby is also not able to swallow, everything comes out. Not that the baby spits out a little bit of it, but you can see that this baby is not swallowing anything. None of the breast milk is going down. Then that should be a worry for you, and the child should be sent to the hospital as quickly as possible. The other day I said that you would have to look inside the mouth and make sure that there's no hole in the roof of the mouth or maybe outside. So you have to be able to do that to ensure that the baby's mouth is okay, if that is it. But you find that this baby is not able to swallow, then please do not stay at home. Take this baby to the hospital. So the sucking reflex is one of the major ones that starts early, and the child is born with it so that this baby can feed. And this goes on even when they become older and you start feeding them with other foods. You find, and those who give the bottle at that time, when the breastfeeding has gone on for the duration that it should go, about 6 months, and you start introducing some other feeds and you put that in the bottle, the child still needs that sucking reflex to be able to do that. Another reflex that is present at the time of birth is the grasp. So you see that when you put your hand, your finger, one finger into the baby's hand, the baby holds onto it. And that is the grasping reflex. That is also there. Sometimes you find that when a baby is, you try to see whether this baby would react if you pretend that the baby was full. The baby will hold on to your hand. So that is a reflex that is there for this baby as well. Then we have the Moro reflex. Sometimes you'll be in the room and somebody will scream and you find that the baby goes like that. They say, oh, the baby is startled. The baby is afraid. And in some jurisdiction, they will think that this baby is not well. The baby has a sickness because of the reaction. That is one of the reflexes that these babies have. And in fact, we even stimulate it when the baby is born to make sure that it is there. All these reflexes are connected to the nervous system. So they tell us about how well this baby is at the time of birth. So do not be afraid if you drop something or somebody screams and you see that the baby goes like that. It is normal for a newborn baby to behave that way. I hope you are getting that, so that when you have a newborn baby at home, you can check all these things out to make sure that the baby is growing very well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the online pregnancy school, and I'm sharing with you what we can look out for in a newborn baby to identify what is normal and what is abnormal, so that we don't get scared when we see something, and we also do not overlook things that we should take to the hospital. Also, that this baby will grow well and also develop normally. So these reflexes are some of the reflexes that we find when a newborn baby comes home. I hope you have learned them. So we have the suckling reflex, we have the grasp, and then we have the Moro reflex. New terms for you, right? So these are some of the reflexes that we have in these newborn babies. There are other things that you might find on your newborn baby when you take the child home. One of them is that sometimes they have like a skin rash, which doesn't last too long. It comes, but then within a few days, it goes away. Please, when you see a rash like that, do not rush into putting on some antibiotic creams and the rest. Don't do that. Some of them are just transient. They will go away within a very short time. However, if you find that your child has rash on the skin and they have the pus or the whitish things in them, then that one is not the normal one. That means that the child might have an infection. So it is necessary to seek medical help with that. There are other things that you might find in your child which are not things that you should be worried about. One of them is sneezing. The child may sneeze, and it is not because the child has a cold, but it is all part of the child's, it's just a reaction. So you don't have to be so worried about that. And children also babies have hiccups. Even inside the womb, some of them do that. So you can have a baby who has a hiccup, and it is not because this child is, sometimes they say the child is thirsty, or there's something else that is why the child is having the hiccup. But it is not something that you should be worried about, because it will just stop. It is not. I know that we have a lot of ways of doing that. Sometimes we take a little bit of cotton and put on the baby's head or things like that. And it's believed that that will help the hiccups to stop. And whatever it is not something that is a big problem, because it is transient. It will go away. Again, if you think that there is something that is unusual about your baby, please do not stay at home. Take this child to the hospital. For some of the children, they might also have the birth marks, some marks on their bodies. Some of them are flat, others may be protruding. And sometimes when it's protruding, some people tie the base so that it will fall off. Whatever you want to do, please when you go for the for the postnatal, let the health providers look at it for you, so that they can give you the right information about what you are seeing. But all we want you to do is that please take time to check your baby. Take time to check your baby. Also, remember to check the back of the baby. Well, you may have seen that at the hospital, they put the hand across the back to see whether everything is okay. So if you go home, you turn this baby on the back and you find that there's a bump anywhere along the spine, please, it is time to send this child to the hospital for them to check up for you whether everything is okay or not. Now, another thing that is on the abdomen that we all have to be aware of is the umbilical stump, the cord after it has been cut, what is left there. At the hospital, they try very hard to press it so that there's no bleeding. But we have seen instances where babies have been taken home and they have bled. So please, if you go home, make sure that you look at the stump, the umbilical cord, when it is cut, the rest of it that is there. Because it can be a place for blood to come out, it can bleed, and then it is also a place where you can easily have an infection. And in previous sessions, I have mentioned some of the things that people put on there because they want it to come off as quickly as possible so that they can give this baby a very good bath, especially if the place is warm. So please make sure that you check the stump every time. When you are changing the diaper, make sure you look at it to see whether there's any bleeding or not. Because if there's any bleeding, it has to be stopped. Otherwise, this baby can bleed so much that it will not be good for the child and also for the family. So that is one key place that we have to look at and make sure that there's no bleeding coming out from the cord. I hope you get that. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today I have shared with you other things that you have to look out for. And I have gone from the head to the chest, to the abdomen, and then to the pelvic area, whether it's a boy or a girl. I have gone through that. Next time, we'll look at other parts of this baby and see what is normal and what is abnormal that we should be concerned about. And please remember, Promise from the Womb. That magazine has a lot that you can learn from. So get yourself a copy. People ask me, what is in that magazine? One of these days, I'll share with you what is inside that magazine. But it is something that you would want to have, whether you are pregnant or you are planning on becoming pregnant, or even you want to get it for that friend of yours. And remember that if you have any questions or comments, please share them with us in the comment section. Or you can send me a WhatsApp message on +2335992420625. Once again, my name is Dr. Linda Vanutu, and it is always a pleasure coming your way with the online pregnancy school. Please, if you haven't done that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. turn on that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Bye.